Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group number 3, Max Pro Aceton Company. This is our presentation about plan costing. Our presenter name is Ahmad Ziad bin Rasidi, Muhammad Haziq Fitri bin Muhammad Rosli, Muhammad Luqman bin Najir or Najib. Next is Muhammad Dani Haikal bin Nur Azlan. The last one is Amar Rais bin Zahari. I'm Haziq will present about introduction. Introduction. Chemical plants are designed to make a profit, and before the feasibility of a project can be measured, an estimation of the expenditure expected and the cost of production is needed. Cost estimating. Process of forecasting the expenses that must be incurred to manufacture a product. It is also a technical subject and a discipline in its own right, but to distinguish between project option and refine the correction, the design engineer must be able to make approximate cost estimates. Estimating. Great importance to a concern because it enables the factory owner to decide about their manufacturing and selling policies. It is clear that for the organization citing higher price, too big of an estimation would not bring any jobs. The calculation would place a loss on the owner of the engineering business, and could lead to failure of the engineering companies. As you can see, this is why estimating is very crucial for any business, as it could lead to undesirable traits. Capital cost. It is a fixed one-time expenses incurred on the purchase of land, buildings, construction, and equipment used in the production of goods or in the rendering of service. In other words, it is the total cost needed to bring a project to a commercial operable status.
Okay, I'm Amra Is bin Zahari. Next, I will continue the slide on the capital cost of our plant. And our company use the method to calculate the cost of the equipment in our plant by based on time. So the table here shows that the total equipment cost, and our equipment includes reactor furnace, flash drum, gas absorption column, distillation column, heat exchanger, condenser, reboiler, centrifugal pump. So there is the cost for each equipment, and the unit, which is the total of equipment in our plant, and what we had calculated. So the total cost for the equipment is 4 million ringgit Malaysia. And next, to calculate the fixed capital investment, we have to calculate the total direct cost, also total indirect cost. Our company used the method of module costing technique. And the total indirect costs include the contingency cost, contractor fees, engineering supervision, construction expenses, and the total for indirect costs, what we have been calculated, is equal to 5 million ringgit Malaysia. And for the total direct costs, which include instrumentation and control costs, installation cost, electrical cost, piping installation cost, building process and auxiliaries, land, services facilities, purchased equipment cost, which is in the slide before, and the total for direct cost is equal to 12 million ringgit Malaysia. So we are using this formula, fixed capital investment equal to direct cost plus indirect cost. So the total for fixed capital investment is 17 million ringgit Malaysia. And to complete capital investment, total capital investment, so we have to calculate the working capital cost, and the estimate range of FCI percent is 10 to 25, and we estimate for about 19%, which is equal to 2 million ringgit Malaysia. And the total capital investment formula is as here, total fixed capital plus working capital. So our company, our plant total investment is equal to RM 20,287,000 ringgit and 680.47 cents.
Assalamualaikum, I am Danny Haikal. Without further ado, I will proceed with operation cost. First, cost of raw materials. Our plant is expected to produce 14,165,577 kilogram of acetone per year. In order to achieve this capacity, we do costing of raw materials. The amount of raw materials required is shown in the table below. As you can see, we use isopropyl alcohol and water as our raw material, and the total amount of raw materials used for 1 year is 68,402,109.60 ringgit Malaysia. Next is manpower or operating labor cost. As we know, a year consists of 52 weeks. Then, a single operator will work on average of 49 weeks per year with 3 weeks off on 8 hours per shift and 5 shifts per week. Usually, a chemical operates for 24 hours, so it requires 3 shifts per day for 365 days. Thus, we have to determine the number of shifts per year of the plant, which is 1095 shifts per year, and divided the number of shifts for a single operator in a year, which is 245 shifts per year, to get the number of operators required, which is 4.5. 4.5 operators are hired for each operator needed in the plant at any time. In order to find the value of number of operating labor required to run the process unit per shift, equation as stated below is used. This NOL, or number of operator per shift equation. The value of P in the NOL equation is assumed to be zero because there is no particulate processing steps in this process, while the value of the number of non-particulate processing steps, or NNP, is determined from the following equation. NNP equal to total of number of equipment, which result is in the table below. As you can see, the total number of non-particulate processing steps is 11. Therefore, the number of operators required to run the process unit per shift is 2.97, and the total operating labor required for this plant can be determined using the equation operating labor, as you can see on the right, and we have to hire 13 operators to operate this plant. Here, the table attached shows each positions needed to run the company and their annual salary. Moreover, the total annual labor cost that our company have to spend to pay their salary is 1,367,794 ringgit Malaysia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name Ahmad Zaid Barasidi. Okay, next I will continue with the production cost based on the transportation. Roads and highway in Terengganu make it easy, for example, to transport good equipment and machinery from Selangor. Transportation such as cars, lorry, tankers can be used to transport our raw material from Selangor and our goods to the west coast of Peninsular Malaysia, which are cheaper than the air transport. The route that we use is the East Coast Highway because it is the shortest route to get to Terengganu from Selangor. The table 4 shows that the cost of the container haulage rates. Haulage is the process of transporting goods from one location to another by road or rail with the use of truck, train, tipper, trailer, van and lorry. It is a business that involves the moving and hauling the commercial goods. So based on the table, we estimated that that our company use 3,236 ringgit and 31 cent for the service in hauling. For the vehicle requirement, we estimated the cost of the fuel, the maintenance, the road tax and the insurance. For the fuel, we estimated for that 146,000 ringgit, and the maintenance is 600,000 ringgit, and for the road tax and insurance cost is 20,000 ringgit. So the total cost for vehicle requirement is 766,000 ringgit. Our company estimated that the cost has been used for the transportation is 769,236 ringgit and 31 cent by adding the cost of the container haulage rate and the vehicle requirement cost. Next is the cost of utilities. Plant utilities are goods that do not participate directly in the process of food production, but are required to promote the process. This may involve steam, hot or cold gas, electricity, hydraulic control, and compressed air production and distribution. Our plant use steam, cooling water, and electricity to be calculated in the estimation cost. So the cost of utility for the steam is 761 ringgit and 32 cent. Next, for the cooling water, the cost of utility is 32,185 ringgit and 35 cent. And lastly, for the electricity cost is 965,249 ringgit and 80 cent. So that's make the total cost for utilities are 998,196 ringgit and 47 cent. So that's all from me. Thank you, and I will pass to the next presenter.
Lastly is the plant economic feasibility. First, we calculate the payback time, which is an estimation of investment made and the revenue that get to pay back the investment. Payback time are calculated by dividing total investment over average annual cash flow. First, we found the acetone production we made in a year, which is 24,212.64 tons per year, and we'll multiply it with the acetone current market price, which is 3,693 ringgit and 54 cents, where we got our cash flow is 89,430,354 ringgit and 35 cents, with our total investment of $20,287,680.47. Our payback time after we calculated is 0.23 year or 2 months and 24 days. Second is the profit before tax. With our total operation cost of 71,537,336 ringgit and 38 cents. Our profit before tax, which is calculated by subtracting the cash flow and total operation cost, are 17,893,017 ringgit and 97 cents. Next is our project net statement. Net statement are calculated by subtracting the profit before tax with tax paid. For tax paid, we need the taxation rate, which is 24%, multiply with the profit before tax, which is 4,294,324 ringgit and 31 cents. So our net statement, which is after being calculated, is 30,598,693 ringgit and 66 cents. Next is the cumulative cash ratio or CCR. CCR are calculated by dividing sum of all positive cash flow over sum of all negative cash flow. Our CCR are 1.25, which is greater than 1, which proves that our project generate profit from the investment that we made. And last is the return on investment, ROI. Our ROI are calculated by dividing the net actual profit with total investment and multiplying it with the 100%. After we calculated it, our ROI are 67.01%. We show that our investment will be paid by the revenue we made of the 67.01%.